So, hello everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, depending where you are in the world. I think today we have international conference. I know many of you from Europe, US, Canada, many places. So we are so happy to be with you today. We will do a short conference today with Lama Samten. Lama Samten, I think many of you know, is a Tibetan monk. So he was born in Tibet, and after he went to India to continue his studies of Tibetan Buddhist philosophy in the great monastic college we call Ganden Jangtse. So this was founded in Tibet in the 15th century and after re-established in India. So after his studies, he got the title of Geshe. It means like a doctorate in Buddhist philosophy. And after he was invited coming to Canada. So now he's in Canada since more than 20 years. And he traveled also different places in the world. So today we have a short conference with Lama Samten, healing stress and anxiety through meditation. So I hope you enjoy. You're most welcome. We are so happy to be with you. So I will just assist Lama Samten when he needs for translation. My name is Jason.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Tragedy to you. So you are welcome. This small meeting. You are welcome. We are so happy. So now I need to translation. My English is not so much enough. Anyway, we are so happy just meeting. This is a good things. This is a good privilege. So I'm so happy. Anyway, you are welcome. So before we talking just our mind to relaxation, just I short chanting Tibetan to calling all quality of Buddha Dhamma Sangha. 그래서 군조 숨지에는 체주의 tembe chedu ngeke shiondoje yoga institute chunanza sembader lolo cheyan tabroji inseni jedena ane gom dudush jagins.
So I will just do a small chanting in Tibetan language, remembering about what we call the three jewels of Buddhism. We call Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. They're incredible qualities. So as this preparation for the conference, just also to relax our mind, to prepare the mind with very positive thinking and energy, I will do like that with a short meditation after we will begin our conference.
Okay. Tomba jomden de jingwa dra jomba yanda wan zogwe sanje rwa dan jasu denba dewara chi jigden jemba jiwon do ba kalon juwa lana me wa lana me nanje tomba sanje jomden peje wa jaja do wa la jade lo chulu jasu chi Digba jiyan mi sha jin gawa puzon zogba de range semne yongsu du dine sanje denba yin sa chi bu ji ju jin me do dan re ra li nyin de jin ban di sanje jin do me den bu ba yin de won nam da jin Yovara joy dan guru rena mende laga nirya daya min. Sanje shudan zoji janan la chanjo badu dani jasun jen dagi jinzo yeve sanam ji. Rola pinjere sanje ndubara jo logwe yula yinwa shijit. Yanda tongla tsuichin jwa yin shine lakdong songdun dewe nyurdu jula jewara jinje lo. Just a short meditation. Okay. 안다 시벤델라 마차신 텐주로 동요 자질의 좀바인 자와 기베 람라 이동베 겐데 대다 당외 이지 뉴스 다 하는 저런도 군농다 군주디도 즉 레버세 땀네 가부 나네 흘로 제세 네로나스.
So please, you just relax your mind and you have a good motivation to enjoy and listen this teaching.
다 드링한도 샤야게 조 사제디 직심 세베네 징나 땅나 ngamra o thende ge simtele chowe 탑람 ene 보지 진이 리슝기 나래 다 간제지 요아래서 데 땅 우주 차지레스 ene 되네 냠nen 치마지 소소라 다 라와레스.
So today we will do a short talk about how, according to Buddhist philosophy, we can, through meditation process, we can all be free of all our kind of anxiety, fear, stress, anguish. We can all overcome our fears through meditation. So we will talk about that today. After you want to practice that or not, this is only your own choice.
다 텐데베니 다 징나다 어딘데게 다 ngamda 어딘데게 심텔레 조야기 탑람 드릉시야 탑람데 보지 낭 진이 릭슝 돈에 셰게요레 대시아 인장 원랭에게 보기 진이 릭슝데 모두 두두직 지촉버직 원으로 봐 된데게 제 까마 가셔지는가 근데 진스.
So today our presentation of how to overcome anxiety and fear and stress is from the point of view of Tibetan Buddhist philosophy. So for this reason, I want to just do a short introduction about what is the main thing about Buddhist philosophy, what is the main subject, what we talk in Buddhist philosophy.
다 보지 진이 리슝데 베네 사바 다 야체바 된데게 베 남장 다 망보지 레스 이나 투 두베네 다 number 숨는 dun로 레스.
So actually, Tibetan Buddhist philosophy is so wide and is so deep. But if we want to go to the essential point about Buddhist philosophy, it's very simple. We can all condense that into three things.
다 저런 정도만에게 되게 낭중으로 연되는 배경 고차브레스. 다 이나 드링 안에 제 미사와 망부 유지를 해서는 양교대 전도를 지금이었어.
So probably if you already came with me with some introduction talk about Buddhist philosophy that I gave, you maybe already know these three main things. But also we have many new people today, first time with me, so I want to just share a little bit about that.
다디 추 숨데 가르서네 아니 미유 안에 디지 코나다 텐데 미유 디지디 루비아게 탑라 람 탑시니 탑시람니 오테레스타 다 주드네 대화체 디톱제게 람델라 탑단 시랍소 디숨은 누구야레스 디숨은 마두베 땅안족의 낭추그 진이를 중직이와 말레스 디숨은 누구야레스.
So what are these three main points? The objective, the goal of Buddhist philosophy teachings, they have only one goal, is to give us more happiness. So that's one thing, that's the objective, the happiness. There's nothing more than that. It's only like one objective, happiness. And the two other things are the way to achieve this happiness that the Buddha explained. They are what we call compassion and wisdom. They are the two ways to achieve this happiness.
Okay. 다 된데베네 나싱기 시대기 디지 텔라야 제 내갑단 타둑스도 내갑 베 니마 레레신 라와 초도 레레신 첸디 체 치마 먼저 켈랭거서 어 된데게 치메 치마 된데라네 된데게 다 디지 남창 망보지요래 디지 텔라야.
So Buddhist philosophy actually explains many levels or grades of happiness that we can find. For example, a kind of temporary happiness that we can have during this lifetime, and even that we can have after this lifetime. So there's many kind of levels of happiness that are more temporary or more deep. So there are many levels.
야, 대체 다 된데게 디지데 컵에 탑텔라야 된다게 다 탑단 시랍스도 발라 탑 닝지 전부 다 대연이 시랍 다 슈남지 내룩도 배워 된다게 안에 탑단 시랍 인식이 그랬어.
And the ways to find happiness are multiple, but they are all condensed into two. One we call the method. So the method is mainly the great compassion, and the wisdom. So the main wisdom is the one that knows the nature of reality.
된다게 닝지 전부 대개는 다 제 가르세는 나게 구능 제게는 심제 탐제 심제나 인ring 매도니 된다게 지 리루당 큐룩당 포모당 하도 된다게 다 산정도 된다 주는 매도니게는 배 심제 탐제라 네 심제 탐제 유지 동행다 동행게 유단제와 전도기 둠바 상부직 닝지신이 되지고 그랬어. 안에 치기 안에 좁아텔라야 된다게 심제 탐제라 차와 미백이 좁아 상부직 차와 대양직 미당 둔로기 차와 매도니 어다 간다르 소자이 친제라 90지구인게 차와 매백이 닝제 좁아 차와 매와 된다지고요. 그래서 닝지신이들라.
So the first way to find happiness that we call the method of great compassion. So what is this great compassion? It's first of all, it's an inner aspiration or an inner motivation to free sentient beings from suffering and the cause of suffering without distinction about any kind of external factors, like example, no borders or no limit or no differentiation about, example, our skin color, our country where we come from, or belief, religion, or whatever. Completely no difference about any kind of factors like that. And even also not even about any kind of sentient beings, also including animals and all kind of sentient beings, to have like a compassionate attitude of non-violence for all sentient beings equally. And also not only from the point of view of the motivation, but also in our actions, like by our deeds, by our words, to enact, to put into action this great compassion also externally.
Okay. 다 탑데 시에 차로시. 다 시럽리. 다 단다 시럽 생이데 텐데 탑 찍고라 때네. 다 내가 단 다두기 디지데 아니 진이 창화직 루투그 말에 텔라 시럽 송도 되고 그래스. 다 단다 시럽 생이데 간데레스네. 쇼남지 네룩라 제바 제네. 땅 안도도 고야데 대화레 인자 제바 제네 안에 대외 유 간대직 소소교 모션바체네 대직 냠내 지야다 안에 동에 미도베 동에 되게 유 가리는데 빵야 텐데게 시랍신인데게 텐데게 대외 유 라야다 동에 유 빵라 지야게 텐데게 로 랍직라 신이 직라 시랍 텐데디 시발은 오나 추남지 내루 또야 로직 샤고레스.
So only the method factor of the path that we call the great compassion will not allow us to find a deep and ultimate kind of happiness. So we say that if we want to find the ultimate form of happiness, we need to combine this great compassion with the wisdom part of the path. So this wisdom, mainly about wisdom, understanding the nature of reality. So actually the word in Tibetan, wisdom, sherap, means excellent knowledge. So what means this excellent knowledge is through analysis, through understanding of reality, through our own analysis and reflection, to understand what gives us happiness, what are the causes of happiness, what are the causes of suffering, and to find the happiness in acting according to that, to stop the cause of suffering and to create the cause of happiness. So that's the wisdom factor that we need also together with the compassion.
뭐야? 다 텐데베 디지 톱제게 problem 디조 다 소소게네 냠네 챵마제 소소라 라레디오레스 다니 다기 고인스 둥에네야 껴면데 소소 에네 레디오레스 다니 다게 다인스 소소 둥에네 마데 룽지니야 소소 차기요레 텐데 다 둥에네 룽단데 시럽디 야보지 요베네 아니 둥에 미도윈자 둥엔게 규데네 아니 텐도당 아니 드베 대와게 대베 규데라네 두 소소게 빵라 야보 제베네 아니 소소게 노야게 디지디 톱게요레 스타테 소소라 라레디요레 마도비 시기 미셴제게 된대게 수수줄에 디지트 수도야 요 말했어. 근데 다니다게 공 다니다게 다인 승쇼레스. 근데 내가 doing start to do.
So even if Buddha gave this information to the public, to everyone, accessible to everyone, we are the only person that can and that could practice all this. So that's our own choice. So that's why Buddha said, I am my own protector as well as I am my own enemy. So we are the creator of our happiness. If we, through wisdom, we understand the real causes of happiness, we can find all the happiness we need. And in the same way, if we don't understand how to create happiness and we continue to create the cause of our suffering, so we have no choice to experience this suffering. So it's our own responsibility, and we can use this method if we like. So we finished our short introduction about Tibetan Buddhist philosophy. So today we will now introduce the subject of our conference today.
다 되는 디나는 초란도는 이제 낭쇼생인데 얌 찾아라고 지지야 된대 지지 펩도니 가지고 그랬어. 가지 오늘게 생기 땡네 권하체네 아니 펩도니 가지 니 용습을했어. 다 초란도 얌 찾아요니 대양 드랭게 낭중으로 되라 연에 대 사두발라 제되나 배직 권하젠지 오 된대게 차야게 오 삼로지 단체 년산에 되그랬어. 다 권하체 연인데 정말 차르도 발라 배직 닝보다 통데 제가 학 고송 선배 갈하나 지는 닝가라 타마라 제 계획이 아니 초더버지 람더버지 된데 계획 초라 주야게 어떻게 답시 지줬어.
So today we have many people together. We are many people together. So maybe you are new to this Buddhist philosophy. So maybe you are more curious about this understanding this teaching. Also, maybe some of you already study or learn since long time. You are more serious and want to know more. So anyway, too, we will benefit from that. Because if we are just curious, we want to learn a little bit about that. So it will open our mind, and after it will give us serious, possibly serious interest to learn more about this Buddhist philosophy. And if we are also already serious about our understanding, so it will give us more tools. So how to practice and to go to the essential point of how to practice this teaching.
Anyway, we are so happy who are curiosity or serious. Anyway is positive because we are talking our subjects as positive. Then everybody to become positive. So that way you are welcome, my pleasure, this conference. My pleasure. Anyway, I'm happy to this, to meet. Okay. 다 되는 안쪽에네 직심단 직난의 대학에 다들 시에도 발랑아도 맞추고 버쳤네. 사제 시토를 시에게 인스 림바 신라버지. 결혼도 지기는 들어지스 죽이는 죽으로시스.
So today we will give many teachings, but as you will not be confused, I will explain that in 4 different points. So please, if you want to learn more about this subject, you can also take notes to remember and to understand. We will see 4 subjects.
드린 안쪽에 직심의 대외에 사제 당보대 가리시기 전에 직심신인데 로 유제제래. 대인상 사제 당보대 유제 직심기 내룩대 야보지 모신 투베네 아니 그 텐도를 놀래게래. 대인바 인자 당보 유제 직심 코란게 내룩대 모두 당보디시기yes.
So the first topic will be about understanding what is about what we call, like we can give different names, but we can all include that into the same topic. Example, if we say stress, anxiety, anguish, or fear, or whatever terms that are related to that. So anyway, all these kind of fears or panic or anguish. So what are they? What are their nature? So this in the Buddhist philosophy, we will explain this is the subject, when we talk about the subject and the object. So the fear itself, the stress itself is about the subject, so the mind itself. So what is the nature of that? When we understand the nature of the subject itself or the mind itself or the fear itself, so after we'll be able to overcome that.
아니바데스 텐데게 직심 깨세기 다 추지 구구로 봤어. 나 시게도 시야게 시세 추게네 지유 지바제세 유 지유게 추 되게 내룩라 간대직 내도 선배 지유게 추지 내룩 야보직 아니 라토바이네 텐데게 지유게 추들라 지구게 도 지구게 민도세 테네 다 추용 거래서 대체도 지유게 추되게 내룩으로 지긴 사진이바데.
So after seeing the first subject, which is the subject or the mind of fear or stress itself, so the second topic will be about the object of fear, because when we fear something, so we fear something, there is something, an object. So the second is understanding the nature of the object itself. What is the nature? So when we understand the nature of what we fear, so after we will be able to evaluate, should I fear or not fear? Is it logical or illogical?
다 숨바데 텐데게 유제 직심 심 텐데게 심중 대다 되게네 신화제적 지유게 추 유디니게 빠라디나 나신이 줄었다. 나신인데 오 텐데 나테 난저기 안에 친이 릭슝 디나는 나테 뭐고 내줄라 대가라 독 민독 게 어떻게 내루도 시작인스 나데 야보지 데 누게스 나란도 텐데게 직심 깨게 심중 대냠들라 나신이 되게니 유 직세기 추 유디도 빠라 되는 즉 열스당 아직 텐데 나데 지유기 추데레 유데레 야니 유제 직심데레스 야니 나데 요레 요 민독스 되게 안 사제선바 되시겠어.
So the third topic, what we will see is that after having seen the first topic and the second topic, which are the subject, the mind of fear and stress itself, and the object of fear, so together with these two things of the subject and the object, there is something supplementary that join in the process of having fear, which is the I, the me. I have fear, I am stressed, I have anxiety. So this I, so what is the nature of this I? So the I in Buddhist philosophy is something very important that we need to study and understand. So first of all, what is the I? Is it the same thing that the mind or different, or what kind of I do we talk here? And more eventually, we ask the question, does the I exist or not exist? So all these questions, so we will see in the third topic.
다 타만데 대시하기인스 텐다베게 아니 직심 대 아니 텔라네 냠보 때야 간제세 직심데 좀바 치고래 간제세 매버 소고도 타마데 다 곰노 되네 직심되게 냠보 아니 곰 가르자고도 탑랑 가르도 탑 가르도 텐데 타마데 다 냠네샤 개치슈지레스.
And the fourth topic is the last topic. So if we don't like this kind of feeling and emotions of stress, anxiety, anguish, fear, so can we overcome them? For sure, we can overcome them. So how do we do? So the third topic will be the meditation. So what is the technique, the method we use in Tibetan Buddhist philosophy to overcome that, to liberate from our fears and stress through meditation?
텐데게 사제 당보 유제 직심게 내룩 시야다 지유게 텐데 추남니 내룩 시야다 텐데게 나시니데 디바라데나 텐데게 유미게 사제 숨데 미게 곰자야게 체도 디 숨데 사제 당보 숨 야보 시에서네 아니 곰자야라 도난다 잉다 돈다데 하고용으로스 사제 당보 숨 야보 마시베네 아니 곰자야라 아니 시라 돈다 메도니 차한걸 텐도 전환도 약보직 롭존치고요레스.
So the first three topics are like preparatory causes, like essential conditions for a good practice and understanding of the fourth topic. So to overcome fears and anxiety, we need to practice the fourth topic, the meditation. But to understand the meditation, we need to learn first, what is this mind of fear? the subject, what is the object, what the nature of the object of what we fear, and the nature of the I. So these are very essential points to understand, to study also.
당한조 사제 당보대 책이 나왔어요. 배는 유전스 직심기 모두 스님들 모든 예술의 간제지 유미디 샤레스.
First, we will begin by the first topic. What is the nature of this mind of stress, anxiety, etc.?
당아란조의 남유 직심라나 리기도 아니 심두 샘제 징나 짱나 아니 제도 창망로다 간다르 직 유미 깨미네 근데 용기요 말했어. 제도 창망로 유전을 때는 중조직 레스다. 유전지 요레스. 대체 맞춰베네 남이한테 좀 제도고 말했어.
So whatever kind of feelings that we experience, of example, fear, anxiety, stress, etc., they never happen in an independent way, but they always happen into an interdependent way. So they have actually causes and conditions. So that's something very important that we need to understand if we want to be free of these feelings.
ngaranzo ke danda jiksim da jingna siade simjungres simjungres tendo bala ngaranzo ke jiksim da bollemdo simjungde lemdo bala te는 ngasin이 정도도 주고도 왔어 디니 제샤고도 제주요 말에세 텐데 심중대다 nga da 신이데 제주요 말에세 데제샤베네 te는 nga 누게 전부 잘 걸어지 그랬어 제주요 말에세 디니 카가샤오레스.
So what is the mind of fear, stress, anxiety? We call that in Buddhist philosophy like a mental factor or something coming from the mind. So actually it's something different from the main mind, but it's accompanying or coming from the mind. So this mental factor of fear also is not the I, because when we fear, we have this strong grasping and feeling of I. And sometimes we can get confused and thinking that's the I that is the fear. But actually the I is not the mental factor. The mental factor of fear and anxiety is very different from the I.
텐답에 단단 가란족이 직심다 직나 땅나 ngamra 깨야테 심중 뉴몽바 제르다 때 뉴몽바 제르 마도베 ngasin이데 말레스 디니 마레스 뉴몽바 제르스.
So there are different kinds of mental factors accompanying the mind. So the one that we call fear, stress, anxiety is a kind of negative or afflictive mental factor that accompany the mind. So it's not the mind and it's not the I also.
Yeah. 인데송요레스 투베 뉴몽 다스기 뉴몽 단들 강사메스 되는 뉴몽 다 다스인데 사가적으로 마더베 뉴몽 대 아니 나스 대 제시메네 아드고 말이 되니 강샤고다스.
So it is said in the sutras that the Buddhas don't see the person as the same as the mental affliction. Mental affliction and the person are two different things.
야, 나라도 줄라 뉴몽바 직심다 직나다 땅난다 간다라 뒤도 윤도 발라 뉴몽바 데 매버 소야기 탑란 제국으로 마도베 땅가 매버 소야기 대지죠 말다스. 나라 가디는데 짜와제고레스. 대라 제약의 탑시단죠 말에서 뉴몽바데 제약 탑시단고레스.
So our only problems that we experience are related not to the I or the me, but are related to our mental afflictions. So what we try to do in the Buddhist philosophy is to try to reduce and to be free of our mental afflictions, such as fear, anxiety, and others. So we never try to eliminate the I. Actually, we have to value the I. We have to take care and affectionate the I. We don't need to do something bad to the I. It's only the mental afflictions that we need to reduce.
다 된대베 뉴몽바 직심다 직나한테도 랩도 발라 내게 직심다 직나한테 빵기 삼별로데 제조 말했어. 대시브치고레스. 대시브치도 발라 신의 직심되게 유대 되네 신의 용세 유대라 딱제지네 유대 빵고레스. 직심 빵이 되네 직심게 유대 빵 직심 모션 버치는 모션 윤도 발라 다 직심 신이데 야보민도 내게네 텐데게 ngalan nu치기도 직심데다 딱제체인도 발라 콜라 규제데 두바 인자 디 유디 빵와 치고레스 직심디 시버 치고레스 베네 산제게 인터송요레스 동행 시버를 치 동행기 유빵버를 치 송쇼레스 동행빵 유시에스 랍쇼 마레스 동행빵 유시에스 동행 시버를 제네 되게 유디 빵고레스 유빵 마투베네 고기 드부 동행데 빵야 탑시 딴 데베네 동행 조거 마레스 동행이 유 마밤인자 가두이나 아니 동행 유되게 동행 소대 그래 스탠드 발라 동행 빵이 두게 되네 동행기 유제주 전에 되네 제으로 마도베 아니 동행 코나 빵야 삼로다네 되네 디기 말바스 동행 유디 빵야 탑시 당네 동행 짱마 소투 그래스 대나신 그 직심다 직나한테 빵이 누구든 대 약보 시에버체 거기 소소 노디하고 하고버체네 다 동행이 유디 빵네 어디 약보요 레스 소 삼로 대단 주마 직심 빵주 말에 직심 그 유디 빵야 탑치다나 아니 직심 란신 게 돈도 그랬다.
Actually, we should not even think, I want to abandon my fears and anxiety and stress, because these feelings are just the result of some causes. No kind of fear, stress, anxiety arrives naturally by itself. It arrives by specific causes and conditions. So we should not want to eliminate fears and anxiety, but we should try to understand what they are, where they come from, and if we stop their causes, so the result will not happen. So that's why also that the Buddha, when he gave his first teachings about the Four Noble Truths, he explained the suffering and the origin of suffering. So he explained that we should understand what is the suffering, and he said we should abandon the origin of the suffering. So he never said you should abandon suffering and you should know the cause. Actually, he did the reverse. You should understand what is the nature of the problems and the sufferings. When you understand their nature, slowly you will understand their causes. So if you want to stop the result, the suffering, you just stop the cause. When stopping the cause, the result will not happen. So in the same way, we don't want the result of anxiety and stress. So we just need to understand where they come from. When we understand where they come from, we stop their cause and the result will never happen.
다 된다 이나 텐데게네 징나게다 유디 가르레스 다 징나 빵발라 징나 시에네다 징나게 유디 제구도발라 안에 직심다 징나 암라데기다 거기 유 디닐랭 유디 가르레스 라비네 다디 추바레스.
So now arrive the question, so what are the causes? What is the main cause of fear, anxiety, stress? So this question happens.
야 한안쪽에 진이 릭슝나레 생각을 해봐 시작하지 시에되기네 되게 유대 라진진당 직소라 따와스 직단이레스.
So actually the cause of all kinds of fears, anxiety, stress comes back to two things. What kind of thing we call that self-cherishing mind, or we could say like egocentric mind. And the second one is what we call the view of the impermanent collection.
대인도 봐라 다 된대게 직심다 직나데마 흉을 따야라 되게 유라 진진데 흉을 땅 그래서 라 진진은 냠보된 그래서.
So if we like to overcome our fears, anxiety, which are a result, we need to stop or diminish the causes, which one of these causes is the self-cherishing mind, too much over concern about the high.
아니 라 진진게 간제체는 직심 속이요래 sellem나 라 쳬브르진베 라 진진게 디 슉쳬베 디게 안에 다 치게 제 갈라오르다 나신게 간낭외 슈 탐제라 셴바다 착바데 슉쳬보제 란진진게 소용요레스 란진진게 치게 추라네 소소게 베네 풍불라 속바다 안에 소속의 시기 균놀라 속바다 족보 종모 기 힘이라 속바게 텐데게 라 진지 디기 셴와 에너지 셴바 슉 첨보지 차 디기 착바 차 용바 인자 텔레쇼부 착대바 인자 다 대퇴사레 대라사레 대나사레 대시사레 삼베 되네다 심중 직심데 떼게 요래라데 와 직심데 떼버다 되네 용도 직심 떼서데
So the kind of mind of fears and anxiety, where they come from. So what we call the self-cherishing mind is an exaggeration of the importance of the I in comparison to the others. So when this feeling is very strong about the I, so whatever is related to the I, what it be me or what it be my things, example, the things around me like my possessions or my friends or my house or my animals, my pet, etc. So this fear will happen because the mind grasps at them, considering them something with very, very strong attachment. So after that happens the feeling of fear.
텐데게 란치버 짐베싱아 신이게 진진대 페지 즉 노바치미야 매도니 즉 가제 유나 대가랑 요도니게 노바치미야 매도니게 뱅 나신인데 베 따베 짜첨부 개첨부 시부지도고요. 텐도 나란족에 따대 가르쳐서는 나란족라 즉 친한게 튀니 다 요버들라 노바침바시니 나신인데 야마당에 전 때스 즉 콜라직 체라고 요라고 즉 tel라 노바침바라고 제 대기이네 텐데 착바데 충어요레스 착바 가제 충어 대신게 코드나는 라토다 직토게 ngam라데 충어요레.
So actually this egocentric mind or self-cherishing mind, as we can say, has no limit. So when it becomes very intense and very big, so it creates lots of suffering. So if we can try to reduce it a little bit, so we will see that naturally there will be less kind of fear and also more relaxed mind. So if we can try just a little bit to reduce, it will be already very helpful.
다 텐데게 란 진진 찌브런데 베 진진 되게 대빵고레스 다 대빵발라 되게 냠보 구구도 가스 되게 냠보 주고 그랬어.
So if we want to free ourselves from this over self-cherishing mind, we need to apply an antidote.
다 되게 란 진진 냠보 가르스 다 대처하레스.
So what is the antidote for this too much self-cherishing mind?
다 되게 냠보 땡 랭에 자샤고스.
So I will answer.
라치브르제 진지게 라라 쫑다 동에 속에 유베자 되게 록초데 셰찌브르제베게 진진로 데라로 장고르스다 셰찌브르제 진지 참바다 닝지 셰라 참두 저도 장고르스다 셰진진로 장고르스.
So because the self-cherishing mind is a mind that considers like the I being more important than the others, so the antidote is to develop an opposite mind. So the mind that will consider others, also not only the self, but also others. So the antidote to this exaggerated self-cherishing mind is an altruistic mind.
다 된도 발라 사제 당보되게니 유제 직심 신인데 빵발라 되게 융오셴 유데 빵발라 되게 냠보 오셴바데 당오조 제심부인스.
So now we just completed our first point about what is this mind of fear and anxiety and stress, what are the causes and what kind of antidote.
대체 다 되네 니바데레스타 직심 깨두발에 직세기 유게 쇼되게 내룩 야보직 생고요레스 대마셴베네 되는 간도 다 대가로요레스.
Also the second topic is about the object of fears and anxiety. So we have to understand what is the nature of this object of fear. If not, we will not be able to be free of these fears.
다 텐데게 지유게 직세 유데라 소속의 풍보라 속바 다 빼샤네 풍보되도 즉 나외게 텐데게야 직심 신앙게 텐데게 나토게 직난다 게토게 직나 시토게 직나 대단 대신게 시기 중화게 텐데게 양 소소 직토게 직나 나타나 속바 야는 텐데 직선들라야 소속의 낭미다 키든 시밀라 속바 야 텐데게 즉 다에 제가게 텐데게 갈롱다 나와다 치베게 야는 소속의 윤노르 룽주디도 내가 야부용 되도 라토다 조부야 되도 조보다 카제토 텐데게 추 망보 제게 아니 텐데게 추 망보 주요레스 직심 신이데 대다도 진제네 직심 제게도 왔어 디추디 야보진년에 내룩생고래로다.
So all the kind of fears or stress that we can have are related to some object that we can fear about. So, for example, it could be something related to our own person, to our own aggregates. For example, our physical aggregate is to the body. So the fear that the body gets sick, or the fear of this aging of this body, of the death of this body. So also related to people around us, including our family, our pets also. So we have like kind of fear that they age, that they're sick, that they die. We can have fear also related to our material possessions, that we lose them, that they are stolen or broken or whatever. So the object of fears are multiple, but we have to understand their nature if we want to be free of our fears.
다 된데 빼샤네. 된데게 지유게 직바제세 유 빼는 소속이 루데라 빼샤비 이네스 되게 내룩 삼노담 이네. 소속이 루데 당보 아메 코바는 마 제인두발라 된데게 풍부되게 란신데 제 개바다 나베 란신 삭제게 추제레 상메게 추제레스. 뭐번 내룩라 어디 삼노담 그래세. 그 삭제게 된데게 개바다 나와 된데게 릭지 레샤 야네 상미게 나야준이 메도니 시야 메도니 게야 메도니게 풍부제 레샤 어디 소소삼당 거래요.
So first of all, if we take our own body, this body is also related very closely to many kind of fears or anxiety that we can have. So we have first to consider and analyze what is the nature of this body. Is it something that is completely pure and uncontaminated, that will never be sick or never die or whatever? Or is it something that has the nature of being like under the power of contamination? So it means that he has no choice to sometimes become sick and age and die. So what is the nature of this body? Is this something that has never problems, or is this something that has the nature of having this kind of problem?
지유게 추변나 소소를 내가 약보시라데 유비네 다데 텐데 내가 데 아니 라토 그냥 셈데 여러바스 아니 데 내가 데 유 직심게 아니 제세 유 지유 이메인자 내가 데 당보 라두네 란신데 유네 쇼야 메도니게 내가 투다도 내야가 내가 저래 니마지를 내가 데 조야가 내가 저래 대사무당하지 여랬다 다 대나신게 소소그 당보 촉보잡으적배 휴부직 툭도 발라 촉보데 툭도 발라 툭베 란신데라 카 제야 매년 그 촉보직 툭소 몸발 카 제야 윤예지레스 근데 그 삼로이 체제 딱제 약보직 지구래요다.
So in the same way, for example, if we talk about the work, our work, when you find a new job, for example, we have to analyze, is the nature of having this job something that is permanent, that we can never lose or never stop this job, or is something that is the nature of being impermanent? And the same thing we can analyze also for our relationships when we meet our new friends and people around us in our family example. Is it the nature of our relationships to last forever, or is it the nature that they will end one day? What is the nature?
Oh yeah. 대나신 경안족의 낭초를 숭쇼를 했어. 개대 주수 롱아식 이나네 대라 미가와 지식샤 개대 주수 미롱아식 이나네 대라 미가 제지 펜스 삼로 대땅체 소속의 루데라 제가 나시게 텐데게 둥에레 징난게 직심 제게 둥네 루데라 삼로 땅 란신게 코 지기야다 게로야 란시 정오분에도 이네 텔라 즉 셈데체된 가리펜 갱고 샤용고 두섬 나게 두섬에 셈데체네 펜야케요 말에 고 란신네 대가라 룹사도 발라 고 주저단케요 말아 텔라 셈데치요 말에 제네 펜야케요 말에세 안데 란신네 게야 균이 메버시네 야 텔라 에네 미가버시네 제주펜 텔라 야 펜도요 말 바스 그러면 가동야 주면 누동야케요 말에 대나신 그 족보 당보 체두네 란신 당보 족보 툭두네 그 타말라 카 제야 임바지 툭보이네 카 제두도 발라 텔레 셈레체는 가리펜 그랬어 계속 주도 그런 매나네 콜레 셈레체 펜하게 민도 카 제야 란신 툭보 당보 툭두네 카 제야 란신 툭보래 타만 카 제버래 텔레센터에 가도 그러나 삼단에 어디 내려다고 그래서 기회 타마라 그 시야지 레도 레민도세 다 시야 매비지 시로고는 센터적으로 그 시야 유니지 개버에 텔레센터에 그냥 누구스 어 르바테 단스 사진이바데 다 도도는 텐데 샤긴 스타 투주 당마레.
So we have to understand that our fears and stress, anxiety are based on illogical reasoning. So through analysis, through developing our wisdom and thinking about the nature of things, thinking about the nature of the object of fear, we can slowly free ourselves from this kind of wrong reasoning and to be free our fears. For example, we have to analyze this nature of this body, our life. So if the nature of this body and this life would be to be permanent, if it was like that, there would be no reason for fear, because we will never die, we will never age, we will never be sick. So there will be no reason for that. And if the nature of this body is to be impermanent, to be sick and to die, so the fear will not change the nature of this thing. So the fear is without purpose, it's purposeless, it's useless. So we have to analyze to understand that our fear are purposeless. They have no objective, only to create us suffering. So the same thing with any kind of impermanent phenomena, like our relationships. Are our relationships the nature of to be permanent and forever? If yes, so you don't have to worry, it will never end. So if this is a nature to be impermanent, so to worry will not help us to last the relationship forever. It has to end one day. So the fear and the anxiety is purposeless also. So we have to analyze this way slowly to understand the nature of things, and slowly we will be seeing that our fears are unrational. So we can slowly develop more wisdom about that. So this completes our second subject about the object of our fear.
Okay. Are you those things agree with me? 저라는 믿음이 배승에 유단 유전셔야 되는데 직심다 직유셔야 되는 믿음이 배스.
Do you agree with what I said about the subject and the object, the first two topics I spoke about fear?
This is my vision, you know. This is Buddhist philosophy. Okay. 사실 숨바데 텐데게네 유다 직심다 지유기 추디 빠라드는 진도니 나신이 주야레스. 텐데 나데 난조게 신이 릭슝나라 텐데 나디 유다 메스 딱제샤레스. 텐데 나 직녀게 나직나 직심게 나직 나신이 직로야 직나 나신이 직심다 지유직 여르베스. 어때?
So the third topic is about the I, because when we experience fear, stress, anxiety, happens a strong feeling of I, something very strong like I fear. So this I, what is the nature? Is it the same thing with the mind or different? Is it the same thing with the fear or different? Does it exist, not exist? We have to understand the nature.
Yeah. 만족에 친이 릭슝나라 돈지 루방 오브 친이시 오브신지 자그레스 오브시도 발라 그러나 배주 유니지를 자그레스 텔라데네 뱀보 쑥 시바 디미두지 숨 자그레스 대샤인도 발라 단다 나신인데 쑥 말레스 홍보된 데게 자그 말레스 쑥 말레스 나신이 시바 말레스 나신인데 내도가 말레스 내와 동에 가야 말레다스 나도 친이 릭슝 삼로 따면에 나신인데 뱀보다 오보다 가르다 어디 쑥다 시바 가야 말레스.
So in Buddhist philosophy, when we speak about a kind of phenomena that we call a thing or a reality, there are only three categories. One category is the material or physical things. The second is the all kind of knowers or minds and emotions, etc. And the third one is the non-associated formations. So the first, the matter. So for sure, the I is not the matter. For example, the I is not the body. So the I is not material. The I also is not the mind, is not something that the knower or the experiencer, like emotions or like the feelings of happiness and suffering. The I is not those also.
만족에 단다 나다 생인데 나란족이 풍봉아 주바 짬기 텔라 민장 딱유서도 발에 민 딱버지 레마더베 나신인데 숙다 텐데게 시바다 데둑 소화돼도 가야 말했어요. 그 명제랬어요. 명자한 따요서도 명답받점제 레마도베 콜라 개개 요 말했어요. 숙단 시바다 개개 요 말했어요. 대도 요 말했어요. 나란족 삼노라 나선이 휴부직 자천부직 이게는 는 징나제도 요러 왔어. 때 나란족로 추바 첨보지랬어. 나 텐데 지야데 로 추바 첨보지랬어. 뭐 내줄 텐데 말했어.
So the I or the me is not the first category of realities or things. The matter is not also the second category, like the mind, the emotions, or the feelings of happiness and suffering. Also, actually, is the third category, what we call a non-associated formation. So actually, the I is just something that is named or labeled on the top of what we call the aggregates, the physical and mental composite of what we call a person. So actually, the person or the I is just the name that we give to a multiple complex of things.
텐데게 명태야 신 소소 그 족보다 텐데 미 신제게 소소라 풍부텔라 명 따인도 발라 저랑게 명라 짜시 명 따인도 발라 소소 그 심중 되게 짐바 되게 때는 나 짜시 인스도 발라 때 짐바를 내버렸어. 텐데 지레 따고 명지레 마도베 나선인데 명 따고 인사 심중이 단 진대고 요랬어. 나 짜시 통라 나선인 다선인데 민짱바지리 짱바스도 봐 콜레 생게 체주매도 민짱바지리 다지리.
For example, if your name is Tashi, so on the complex association of many things like your body, your mind, etc., somebody gave the name Tashi. He just gave the name Tashi to this complex many things together. So this is just a name. But when somebody say your name, you have a strong feeling that grasps to something very concrete and real, something like substantial, that is me, that is I'm Tashi. So actually, this is only mental factor. Like this person, like the name is just a name, but we strongly grasp with this mental factor of thinking there's a real I, something concrete.
Yeah. 텐다베스 민장 따유 딱베 민테 첸딜라 루디 식두발라 민대 갈레갈레 라ンド지레스 민대게 자와 치만 로스인데 요 말했어. 간조게 낭바게 자와 치만 로스인데 민데 로스이기 말했어. 남시디 남바르 시바 되게 통마메바네 첸디다 치만 로니데 남시리 샤그레 시바지 샤그레스 자와 치마스도 간조게 안에 자와 치마 렌 자와 치마 렌샤데 텐데 로직에 네 자와 치마를 무튼 로고에 시그레 마도베 안에 딱베 민데 로게 말했을 때 내기 풍봉아 식두바나 때는 거다 예로스 그 민지를 봤어. 풍봉아 조두바나 그 민따사 요 말았어. 민따사 매서 풍봉아 식두바나 풍봉아라 따세 민데 시디 매빈자 아니 민대하고 살레스. 난도기 자와 치마 로시아데 로직 이지 남시신 로텐 로그레스.
So in Tibetan Buddhist philosophy, when we speak about the nature of reality and the nature of our person, actually, it's not this I or this me or this simple name that will go after the end of this life, at the moment of death, that will go to the next life. There's something that continues after this life, but this is not the I, this is not the me, because this is only a name. The name cannot go to the next life. We will lose this name at the end of this life. So this is not I or me that go to the next life. It's the mind. It's the most subtlest nature of the mind that will continue after this life, go to the next life. So the me or the I or the person is not that.
Yeah. 텐데게 얘네 가난도 풍봉하라 딱베 명데 텐데 풍보 코라나 안에 다 땡도 유베 인자 풍보되게 자와치마 로시기 말레스 풍봉아 자와치마 만로바 인자 콜라 딱베 명태야 대가란 자와치마 로시기 말레스 자와치마 로인데 로레스 로그란신지 도그레스.
So the I is something that is just labeled on the top of the aggregates, the multiple elements that constitute what we call the person or the I. So this I cannot go to the next life because the aggregates like the body doesn't go to the next life. What goes is only the subtlest mind.
다 텐데게 다나다 신인데 다 시바레미 누가스 다 코게 신나제한테 간대 중을서 콜라 코 다래도 왔어 다직리 민잠제래도 왔어 다코 신나제한테 간대 셔버렸어 그 삼로 야부 땅에는 뭐번 내주도 삼로 땅에는 다 신인데 징나제요 말했어 코라 다잠제로 봤어 콜라 맘다다 텐데 땅나다 그래서 제요 말했어 그 민다버지래 봤어 콜라 가르치는 민 콜라 신나제하게 코라 시바도 대두 가야 말했어
So we have to analyze this carefully because when we analyze how we experience fear and anxiety and stress, we have this strong feeling of I have fear. But actually, when we analyze carefully, we see that the I is just a name. So how can just a name have fear, experience suffering and pain and happiness? You know, this is just a name. So it cannot be experiencing suffering and happiness. So this we have to really ponder and analyze how it's producing like this way.
네. 다들 나란족 직심내 태생이 직심대 심중 유문바지 자고래 생활한족에 단다 직심내 태수도 바는 나 태교 말해서 나 방규요 말해서 나라 때와되고래서 태세 직심내 태세야데 유문배 심중 직배기 심중 어때 매서 그래요.
So the way that we have to use to be free of stress and anxiety is to be free of what we call this mental factor of fear, stress, and anxiety. The only problem is the mental factor. It's not the I. We have to take care of the I. We have to affectionate the I and give all the happiness for the I. But this mental factor, that is the problem. So that's the one we need to be free of.
다 사제 시바데 시야인데 개시슈데 당가나서 사제 당보숨데 시엔사도 발라 당원에게 탑람라보데 제약의 탑람이 약슈 시바데레 두주 통쇼도 코체 개시슈데 개체와다 두주 통쇼도 샤송스다.
So now we go to the most important topic, the fourth topic. So the first three topics were preparation, how to understand. Now we arrive to the fourth topic, how to meditate, what is the method to overcome our fear, anxiety, and stress. But we arrive to the main topic, but we use the shortest time. The most important topic, we have only short time to explain.
So
very important to listen well now because we have not lots of time.
네. 다 간제 제전에 직심내 될 수도 곰 잡네 곰을 때네 직심 직난에 될 수도 발라 직심대 용세 직심대 유미 깨미네 중간 말에 직심게 유 단계 시합하는 게 또 라진진레스 라진진 대야 그 딱제 제인도 발라 대 용세 짜와 대야 단진레스 다 간다르 나도 두바진베 단진 텔라 냠보테 마토바이네 라진지 쪼고르 냠보테 메이네야 패진 직심네 대야 깔레 가부 차요레스 대인도 발다 텐데 나도 두바진베 단진레 냠보테 시작이 대 냠보테메네 다 짜와디네 째로요레스다.
So these feelings of fear, anxiety come from the self-cherishing mind, as we explained before. And this self-cherishing mind is rooted. So the main root, the principal root, is what we call the mind of self-grasping, grasping to a self. So grasping to independent existence or grasping to a self. So if we want to be free of our fears, so we need to go to the principal root and apply the antidote to this root.
대인도 봐라. 되게 라진진 짜와데 안에 즉 다도 두반 짐베 림바 단지 개 매바 마소베네 라진지 매바 소바 짬지 다 드기요 말했어. 대인도 다도 두반 짐베 단지 대 매바 소발라 되게 록초 다미 똑베 셰랍 스두발 다 매바 똑베 셰랍 되나 간사게 다미 똑베 셰랍 추지 다미 똑베 셰랍 덴데기 셰랍 니데 로 자네 덴데기 덴바두베 딘지 데라 냠부 덴투바이니 다 라진지 직심다 제바다 매소토 그랬어.
So because the self-cherishing mind has its own root, so if we work just on the self-cherishing mind, it will not be enough. We have to go to the principal root, which is the self-grasping mind. So the way to apply the antidote to this kind of wrong perception, the self-grasping mind, is the wisdom that realizes the selflessness. So there's two kinds of selflessness, the selflessness of persons and the selflessness of phenomena. So the way to be free of this self-grasping, ignorant mind is these two wisdoms.
텐다베 남이베 똑베 시랍 남이도베 시랍 니 텔라 아니 롭존 제네 텔라 아니 다 곰자고요. 레스 딘네루 셴베치도 곰자도 디 곰델라 학동 시그레스타 줄 학동라 투삼 친구레스 투삼제 곰자고 줄 학동로 곰자고 레스 단다 된대기 시랍 남이도베 시랍 니샤 되게 냠네 지야라 딸 학동라 투삼 고주샤 레스.
So to develop these two kinds of wisdom that realizes the selflessness, we need to practice the meditation that we call meditation on special insight or vipassana. So to be able to practice that, it needs to be preceded by the good understanding through the study. So we need first to study and to analyze how to practice that. And after we can practice that to realize these two selflessnesses.
텐다베 학동데 나는 즉 약복의 냠레 토상 건수면 용의 탑델라 탑동 뷰라 약보지 냠레 제약이 탑라 탑 약쇼데 시네레스 데네 다 너르드나 실라니라 토상 건수면 지야레스.
And the fundamental basis that we need to be able to practice vipassana or special insight meditation is the other category that we call shamatha or calm abiding. So the special method that permits to develop special insight is the calm abiding.
인터승셔레스 신의 랍도 뎀벨 학동게 뉴무 넘버 타바 좀 제네 통만의 신의 제셀라스 교란도 텐다베 남의 도베 시랍 학동 동리도 별로 약보지 줄을 깨발라 뒤탑 약쇼데 통만되라 신내내 고주고래 숭슈도 세네 결혼도 더나제네 다 신내내 고주네 시랍도 야보지 신선에 다 직선내 대학에 탑랑 약슈 곰디니레스 다 돌드네.
So as it is said by the great Indian master Shantideva, knowing that special insight fully endowed with calm abiding will destroy our mental afflictions. So look for the calm abiding from the outset. So we have to understand that these two practices are very important, calm abiding and special insight. That is the essential point of the Buddha's teachings. And the first that we need to develop to be able to develop the second is the calm abiding. So that's these two kind of practices that we should try to do and to understand.
Okay. Don't come on. 대인도 발라 하네 만족에 안에 tin이 릭슝 텔라 안에 만족에 다 뉴문바 매버 소야게 람텔라 안에 슈지봉부 제지 시동 송셔레 슈지봉부 제지 시동데 뉴문베 남창 제지 시도 요베 인자 뉴문바 레레기 녀볼라 땡약 체도 안에 람지 남창 제지 시동 송셔레스 다디 람지 남창 제지 시동데 마 두베네 산제게 람니수 두베이스 니데 간시나스 신에단 학동 오스 너르드나 교란조 실라니라 냠나 야보시게네 다 낭조게 에네 다 닝보 용수 두바 디니는 창게요레스 안에 토지 셰스 다 드링 어데네 대가점 샤기스.
So actually we say that the Buddha gave 84,000 kind of dharma, so it means like teachings. Why? Because he identified there are 84,000 kinds of mental afflictions that need to be overcome. But if we go to the essential points of what is the practice of these 84,000 kind of dharma, they are all included into two. So the Buddha expressed that these two are calm abiding and special insight. So that's what we need to practice if we want to overcome not only our fears, stress, and anxiety, but all kind of mental afflictions like anger, jealousy, etc. So this is all for today for our talk. I thank you so much for coming with us.
Yeah, that 타마텔라 당긴게 라바난신체 당복에는 얌 차자지 연투인데 다 드링긴에게는 오한로버체네 제 중마네 제 토난제 차야 제단 토난제 되게디 드링초디 년에 제 때제 양조 제 셈데 제 즉 야지도 즉 야 도나 체를 안에 체를 영향 체도 네 현도적 쪽인 현도 차선에 아니 결혼도 런예도는 런은 디그레스 아니 내년에 주바도는 주바되는 시고스.
So as I said before, today our explanation is if you are just like introducing yourself and you're curious about this Buddhist philosophy, so I hope this can increase your interest. If you are already since long time interested and it can help to deeper your knowledge, so I'm so happy also. So I will just do also at the end a short chanting for helping our mind also to continue into this path for happiness. And after, if you have some questions, you're most welcome also to stay a little bit with us. And if you have to go also, no problem.
Okay. 사시 부시 수제메도장 레라링신인데 gem반데 산제 징도 메데 보바인 드고 남다중 조바를 쇼 자와 군도 양다 라마다 데메 쉐제 벨라 룽조진 사단 남제 연데 랍도 도르제 장게 공바뉴도 쇼 예당 구루라나 멘데라가니 다야미 찬족 샘조 렘보제 마제 바나 제조 자와 냠바 메바야 공내 공도 배워. Voilà. Thank you so much. Your patience with me. We are so happy. Then we wish you are happy inner peace soon. Yeah. Then you are anytime you are welcome our Paramita Center. My pleasure. Then Jason, something you talk informations next.
Yeah, thank you so much everyone for coming. So after I will just I will open the mic. So if you want to speak, if you want to some question also, you're most welcome. So I think many of you all know already. If no, you know we have like a Paramita Center in Toronto. You can look our website for our next activities. In December, there will be one activity also with Lama Samten, like Healing Buddha Empowerment. Also in January, we will begin different activities like our course about meditation on calm abiding and the Lamrim, also Buddhist philosophy teaching. So you see all the activities on the website. Also, we have a website also for Europe. So we have sometimes we have centers in Europe. So also you are most welcome to visit. And also next summer, Lama Samten will give also a retreat about meditation on calm abiding in our retreat center in Quebec, also for people all around the world. So you're most welcome. Also, you can see that on the website also. So I will send also an email to everyone participated today for the recording of the today teaching. So you can, if you want, listen again or share with your friends, you're most welcome. And also, if you want to read about the subject more, you can read example. There are many books, examples from His Holiness Dalai Lama you can find about this topic. Also, Lama Samten, he wrote a short book about finding happiness from day to day. There are different topics, including the topic of today. So I will open the mic if you like to.
Yeah, people like to question.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Hi. You said there were two kinds of meditation. One was calm abiding, but I didn't catch what the second one was.
Okay, we call like special insight.
Oh, okay, a special insight. So okay, all right. Here's I have a second question.
Yeah.
Now, does the mind have a feeling, like not separate from the eye? Okay, so the eye has a feeling because we might, be upset maybe, and we can feel it, and it's the eye, right? But that's a delusion because it's part of this mental construct. So, but the mind is not a delusion. So it's inside of us then. Well, how do we know, how do we perceive it or sense it? Or is it just through logic that we know it's there?
So actually, this is a long, it will be hard to explain in detail here today, but just to say simple, okay? We say in Buddhist philosophy, we have what we call like the five aggregates, which includes all the impermanent phenomena. So our person, the I, is just a name that was given to this complex of five aggregates. So these five aggregates are the form, the matter. we have also what we call like the feelings. So every kind of happiness, feelings, good or bad we have is included into the feeling aggregate. So it's not the I, it's not the mind, it's mental factor, something that goes with the mind. And also we have what we call like the feeling of, not the feeling, but the mental factor of discernment. Also the mental formations, including all kind of complex things we have in our mind, like concentration, attention, and mental afflictions. And the last one is the consciousness. So the I is just the name that we give to this complex of 5 things. So the feelings, the consciousness, the body, all together, we call I. So Buddha said there's no separate I from these 5 things, you know?
Okay, but what is it then once we die? Like, what is it? Where is it inside of me? The thing that once I die goes over.
Yeah, this is the subtle mind. The subtle mind. The 5th aggregate consciousness. There's many levels, coarse and subtle. This is the subtlest that goes to the next life.
Okay.
And together with the subtle mind, all the different actions and things we do in this life, they are printed. You know, there's kind of imprints in the mind. So that's reactivated after in the next life and subsequent lives.
Okay. Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
I can ask another question if you like.
If there are another question, okay, we just.
Somebody first.
Just wanted to say thank you and goodbye.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay.
See you.
Thank you.
Me too. I want to say thank you very much and
Welcome.
see you soon. Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, then you tell me your question.
Oh, okay.